business automation. So we're going to talk about the business automation blueprint. And first, let's answer the question of what automation is. And if you try to define it in terms of an online business, or you define it in terms of the online portion of the business that you are running, we're talking about you doing something or you putting things in motion without any active effort. So in other words, these are things that are going to happen in your business. They are tangible things. They're substantive things that are going to move the process forward in your business without you having to do something. And that even means sending a broadcast email, which is pretty easy to do. But these are things that happen because you set them in motion ahead of time. So anything that you're doing that happens automatically. And outsourcing is not automation, right? So this is not about outsourcing. And yes, outsourcing will save you time. Yes, outsourcing will help you to be more productive. Yes, outsourcing will move processes forward because you get talented people. That's not what automation is. Automation is something that you put in motion. And almost exclusively technology can do this, right? So that's really what the online portion of your business can do for you. It means that customers are getting what they want as soon as they make payment. And that may sound like it's automatic, but it's not. Oftentimes, we're going to talk about that tonight, many times a customer, through no fault of your own, are they always going to get what they paid for immediately? And so what you want to do is you want to have processes in place that just in case those things don't happen, that you get them to that first page. And I'm going to talk about why that's important here. It means that when they need help, they can get it. And again, sometimes that means then that even if your support person is not available, can they get the help that they need? If your support desk is off for the weekend and you have something that happen, can they still get some help? Can they get the help they need? And that, again, it means that you're putting processes in place. It means you're putting systems in place to make sure they're getting the help that they need. It means that if your client or your customer don't know what they should do, they get direction. And that does not mean that you can be there 24 hours a day. That's what an online business is. That's what the online portion of your business is. It means that they get direction when they need it. And again, the way you want to think about this is, what can I do beforehand to make sure the customer gets what they need, right? What can I do? What can I do ahead of time? We're going to talk about some of those things in this session. And hiring somebody to do menial tasks. And this is why I want to come back to outsourcing. It means that just because you can outsource things, if you hire that person to do things that you could automate, that means then that you're not getting your ROI on the money you spent. Well, when you spend money, you decide to spend money on human capital. You decide to bring someone else in your business. You want to make sure that person, number one, is a 10. That they are highly competent, they're highly talented, and that they can actually move your business forward. If you can do something that is going to be automated instead of having a human to do it, that means that you can spend your money on humans to help you to do things that are going to be, again, additive to your business. Now, the growth of your business and brand still depends on labor in real time, right? So basically, if you have somebody work for you, you want your business to grow as a result of it. You don't want to spend that time, you don't want to spend that money getting people into doing really menial stuff. So where does automation matter most, right? So we can talk about automation in every aspect of your business. And if we did that, we'd be here for 10 hours. We want to talk about one thing. Where does it matter most? The most crucial thing you and I can do, right, to make sure your customer that purchases your product online gets what they paid for as soon as possible. Again, it sounds elementary, but it's not. And we can put processes in place to make sure that those few times when something goes wrong or something goes sideways, or that your customer has something different than other customers, that they are actually going to get what they paid for. And then, while they may or may not refund you, this could put a bad taste in their mouth if you're meeting them for the first time. So let's say that you have a customer, they're buying from you for the first time, and then for whatever happens, right? Again, it can be a process that is out of your control. They don't end up getting the right email. They don't end up getting sent to the right thank you page. They don't end up getting sent to your support desk. They don't end up getting sent to the right place. They don't end up seeing something that they were supposed to see what it does if you only have one avenue is it puts a bad taste in their mouth. You want the first experience, if at all possible, to be a good experience. And when we say, and you probably heard this often as an entrepreneur, as a marketer, right? You want to make sure that your customer finds it easy to buy from you. And that's only half true, right? It's only half true. What it has to be is, what has to happen is, it's got to be easy for the customer to consume what you have given them. Right? And I'm not just talking about concept. I'm talking about it must be easy for them to get their hands on what they purchase and start using it. That's what must be easy. So again, only half of the process is that they bought it, now it's easy. Right? The delivery is important. The introduction is important. Getting them into and getting their hands on the product is important. And then leaving these issues all to customer service, right? And this is kind of where you want to just kind of think differently about automation. It doesn't mean that you can put all this on your support desk, right? Because by the time it gets to the support desk, when somebody is going to write into support, they're already coming in hot. They're already coming in at 10. They're already a little upset. You don't want to do that. Number one, your customer service. Number two, you don't want to send a person through those changes if you don't have to, especially if you can automate some things on the front side, right? So again, if your customer service is handling everything, if it's a catch-all, that means then you're not automating enough. Now, and this is going to be the difference between somebody being okay with your product and somebody loving them, right? So it's when you eliminate a lot of those hitches, as many as you can, people are going to be more than okay. They're going to love what you do, right? And as much as that as you can eliminate, I mean, you can never eliminate 100%, but if you can eliminate as much as you can by automation, you are going to put people, and you're going to make them feel a little more positive about what it is you're doing. And if you, for whatever reason, right, if you just make them okay or put them in neutral, what it does is just slows down momentum, right? Because momentum means that people are saying, wow, this is great. They're going out and telling other people. They're giving you positive mention. All of that momentum makes more sales for you. And again, all of this stuff in terms of automation will matter, but you will see it show up in additional sales. Now, you and I, we've got to neutralize as much of this stuff as we can through automation, right? We can do that. Now, there is what are called belt and suspenders. And belt and suspenders is really just another way of saying we want to be conservative. We want to make sure that we've taken care of every aspect of the process. And we want to make sure that we overlap if we have to. So in other words, even if a person hears from us and they get their login and password in one way, we still want to make it available to them in as many ways as they can. If we can tell them in video, if we can tell them in an email, if we can tell them in a PDF, if we can tell them in all the ways in which they experience the product or experience us, we want to be able to do that. And again, all of this takes practice, but let's talk about this. You can't assume, right, that all buyers are going to have the same experience with your products. And what does that mean? It has nothing to do with you, right? Everybody who comes to your website doesn't have the same aptitude. They don't have the same experience dealing with things online. They don't have the same experience dealing with technology. They don't have the same experience unzipping files. They don't have the same experience downloading files. They don't have the same experience streaming files. They do not have the same experience. Some people have different kinds of internet connections. Some people have limited space on their PC. Some people are working on a mobile device. So not everybody is going to have the same experience with your products. And you can't assume that they are. And every time you give people one avenue to get what they purchase from you, what you're doing is you're assuming that everybody's going to have the same experience with technology that you're setting out. And that's a mistake. Right? You want to be as conservative as you can and assume that nobody has the same experience, and it's as many ways as possible that you can get people to what they purchase or what they have done with or what they're doing with you. You want to be able to do that. So if you can, go the extra mile. Now, again, that might sound a little cheesy, but it's true. As much as you can do by automation, right? As much as you can do. Now, again, I'm not talking about going the extra mile by being there 24 hours a day. That's really what automation does. Automation allows you to in effect be everywhere because you set it up ahead of time and you're getting people, again, to the same point. Again, a lot of these things are going to overlap with each other, but it's fine because all you're doing is you're being extra sure. The delivery system should be automated, but you should not assume that it's going to happen. Right? You shouldn't assume that people are going to get to the thank you page. You shouldn't assume that people are going to get to the right link to get their stuff. You shouldn't assume that. You should not assume that they're going to get the delivery email. Right? Now, again, you might say that, hey, you know what? I know they're going to get their login and password. Don't assume it. Right? Don't assume it. Again, please do not assume that you're collecting leads. Right? Probably one of the most important parts to what you're going to be doing when you sell a product, when you have an opt-in page, is that you're going to get the lead. That person's going to make it into your autoresponder. They're going to become a lead for you. You can't assume that. Right? Often that doesn't happen for any number of reasons. We'll talk about that, why that happens tonight. You can't assume the customer's going to unzip the files you've given them. Right? You can't assume that's going to happen. You've got to compensate for that, and you can compensate for that through automation. The customer should be able to find and use your support, but you can't. You cannot assume that they're going to find it. Again,